The following is a paid political broadcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed in this forum are solely those of the participants of this event and do not represent the views of the management and staff of Radio Cayman.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Wednesday, the 17th day of March 2021. This segment of the show this morning is, again, a paid political slot. And it is my pleasure to have back in the studio with me this morning Mr. Michael Miles, who is a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections. He is seeking to represent the electoral district of Prospect in our parliament. Previously, we had Mr. Miles on the show, and he detailed 5 strategic goals that he has identified and he wants to strive for. They are education, the cost of living, healthcare, in particular mental health care, the environment, and equality in the Cayman Islands. So, Mr. Miles, again, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. How are things going in Hastings? How are things going?
Good morning, OC. It's always great to be here, and certainly good morning to the listening audience. You know, things are going well. You know, as I was telling you, I was chatting with my wife the other night, and you know, I was telling her, I said, you know, at times I feel quite envious of, you know, when I cut on international news and I see all of these politicians raking in millions of dollars of donations, and you know, they have to, you know, all they're really doing is just showing up to the stage and just presenting and that sort of stuff. And here I am, you know, I'm funding quite a bit of my campaign. Not that I mind, because I've gotten into this because I simply don't want to be controlled by any particular group. So here I am working part-time, managing a full-time company, managing 2 nonprofits, raising funds for young people who can't afford to come to the TVET Center, and I'm loving it, and I'm running a full-time campaign. So, you know, it's been phenomenal. I continue to canvass anywhere between 6 to 8 hours a week. It's been a phenomenal response, and people want different. Our people are saying that they want more transparency, and that's what I'm providing them. I try to explain to folks that we have to now stay engaged in the process. I simply don't just want an X when people cast their vote. I need them to stay engaged. We had a town hall meeting last Thursday evening, and for me it was brilliant because I got to lay out who I am, because no one's going to define who I am, and it doesn't matter who I'm running against, but no one's going to define who Michael Miles is and my accomplishments. And, you know, people want more of that. You know, I want to put more compassion in government, more humanity. in our country. I believe that Caymanians are falling behind, and every single year we continue to fall behind. When I look at the millions of dollars that we have just spent on roads, and we have the average young person graduating with virtually nothing coming out of the public school system. You have 13,000, according to what Austin has said, and the Chamber of Commerce Forum. You have 13,000 people who are now on some level of subsidized care through needs assessment unit. I get calls regularly, OC, from single moms, families who can't afford their health insurance, who is very concerned about retirement or their children's education. And that breaks my heart. I mean, it breaks my heart for our people, because this is our country, and yet we are continuing to survive it. And that is hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. So when I've made the choice to run this race in the best interest of Caymanians, I don't feel any sort of way of saying I'm not going to align myself with people who do not put Caymanians first. I'm no interest in big development or big business. Caymanians must come first, and those businesses now have to reconcile with, if we're building it for this country, Caymanians must be at the forefront of this. As I talk through this with a number of folks, I'm no longer asking the question, who are we building it for? The question for me now, how's it going to benefit us? There's a lot of political candidates are consistently talking about who we're building it for. I'm no longer there. I'm always evaluating on, okay, how does this benefit Caymanians? Not the economy. How does it benefit the man on the road that's hustling, that can't afford his mortgage or can't afford his kids' fees or health insurance fees, or something as simple as a copay? Because that's where we are now. There's less money floating around, disposable cash floating around in our families' hands. So therefore everything is tight. Going to the grocery is now a big sigh. I sit on people's porches, OC, and I'm in total awe that the average family, the challenges that they face, because I remember having those challenges when I was a kid. My mother had those challenges. I'm 47 years old. My mother had those challenges when I was 10, 11 years old, when I didn't have a father around, and I had a single mom working 3 jobs. And here we are in 2021, the average family is saying to me, sir, how can you help us afford to live in our own country? How can you be honest with us about development in our own country? How can I ensure that my child goes to school and they have a shot, just a shot, at going to college, or a shot at getting a job? I have young people coming home. I sat with this family on Saturday. It was raining quite a bit, and I was trapped in an apartment, and it was phenomenal because I got an opportunity to talk to a 10-year-old who's attending one of our local primary schools. And as I was talking to his mom, he was listening. Him and his brother was listening, and he said to me, I don't understand how the education system can't just meet me halfway. He's been diagnosed with ADHD, but he's a bright boy, very articulate. And the things of what he said that he wants for our education system are simple things of what we're doing at Hope Academy. The same things that we've been discussing in education for probably 30 years. Adjusting the education system, that the system meets the kid where they are, not where we want them to be. Instead of pushing them through, provide the support. He talked about just having more time to think through his thoughts, because he's often distracted in a class of 28 kids. Having the opportunity to have another teacher in the classroom, that when he raises his hand, he don't have to be stuck, with his hand up for 5 minutes asking for help. These are simple things that we could put in place, but we're putting on a lot of roads. We're now to a point in government where everything becomes for the optics. And that, for me, is challenging pill to swallow, where we can just pave every road because we needed to prove to OC or Mayor or John that we've actually done something in 4 years. And I'm ashamed of that sort of government. I'm very just disheartened that that's what it is now. Rather than saying, something, let's make a conscious investment back into our people. Let's invest in jobs. Let's invest in making sure that we have more entrepreneurs coming out of our public school system or private school system. Let's make sure that our early childhood centers are better funded so we can have more qualified teachers in those places to ensure that there's more well-rounded kids coming out of the early childhood centers moving into our public schools and our private schools. Mm-hmm. Like those are the things that I believe that we need to start to focus on.
Okay. Now you mentioned the fact that you not only manage a business, but there are several non-profits that you also are involved in and that you're managing. So what you're saying to the people of Prospect and to the people of the Cayman Islands in general is that in seeking public office, in seeking to be a member of Parliament, you're not looking for a job. You already have jobs, so you're not in need of a job. You're doing it because of your passion. Is that what you're saying?
It is, man. Listen, I bounce out of my house every day. I believe, the greatest honor of walking into Hope Academy every morning at 7:30 and shaking or fist bumping or high-fiving 115 kids' hands, giving them a hug, telling them good morning, wishing them well throughout the day, and throughout the day helping them stay in class and understand that they matter. Mm-hmm. That's an honor. I can't find any better way. I could have resigned from Hope and walked away from that. I love it. It is one of the things that moves me every day. I look forward to it, a matter of fact. And then from there, it's going to the training center and talking to young people about career paths and, looking at opportunities that they want to go on. Yesterday I met with CUC, DART, because we have to start looking at a better transition between training and the world of work. So I met with perhaps the two biggest private companies in our country because I want to make sure that our young people are priority. That's why I do this. And then it's off to another donor who wants to provide scholarships. It's writing. I was up until 1:00 last night writing letters to a donor who sponsored 5 young people who all have jobs. Like this is passion. This is heart. This is all about, who I am and where I want to be. I want to win this OC. Trust me, I believe that I can add a lot of value to our country at a national level. I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it for, well over 25 plus years. So adding value is not a big thing anymore. Why I am now doing this is because I can't trust what incumbents are now doing. I can't trust, that they get in, they argue back and forth, the government goes off and do whatever they want. The opposition feels that they are kind of locked in because, they're not the government, so they can't make any decisions. They can't make any change. And I call it the biggest bunch of rubbish that I've ever heard. I'm not even elected, and I can make change in this country. I don't need to make change to 65,000 people, but I can make change to a handful of them that will have a ripple effect. And that's what I do every single day. And when I hear opposition members talk about, well, I can't make any changes because, I'm not the government. I find it's the biggest bunch of rubbish that I've ever heard. You've been elected. What's the plan? Right? You knew that there was a possibility that you may not have formed a government. So you're gonna tie your hands for 4 years? I just don't buy that.
Yep. Have to be more innovative. This is a good time for us to take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. The conversation with Mr. Michael Miles, a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections. He's a candidate seeking to represent the electoral district of Prospect in our parliament. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Mary Catherine Bodden, 1910 to 1994.
Mary Catherine Bodden, nee Eden, attended school at Caswell, taught by Mrs. Nora Dilbert, nee Walter. She was a loving, caring mother of 4 children. She was a member of the Presbyterian Church from 1925 and served as choir director, organist, Sunday school teacher, and founding member of Women's Guild at Savannah. She traveled to the various districts conducting services for the Guild and took care of the preparation of Holy Communion for years. She was an active and influential cornerstone of both her church and her family. She was the mother of Cayman's first national hero, James Manoa Bodden.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
We are telling you ahead of time, giving you the heads up to get ready. The Black Tie Affair with a circus twist. Step right up. The annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Hotel Ballroom. Step right up. Support the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving life. The ambience of a circus affair. Tickets are limited, tickets are precious. Get your tickets from Rotary Central members. Go online to Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation Facebook pages. Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation. Rotary opens opportunity.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings. Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value. Integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the beat.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, candidate Mr. Michael Miles. He's seeking to represent the electoral district of Prospect in our parliament. Mr. Miles is campaigning on a platform that includes 5 strategic goals. They are education, cost of living, addressing the cost of living, addressing the provision of health care in the Cayman Islands, in particular, mental health care as well, addressing environmental issues, and looking at equality in the Cayman Islands, whether it be gender equality, cultural equality. He's looking at those as well. And I'm going to pass the mic back over to Mr. Miles.
You know, as I was saying, OC, you know, a major part of my push to doing this is to take all of the things of what I'm doing to a national level. One of the things that I've said to folks is that while I'm knocking on every door, I know that not every door is going to open. I'm not going to meet everybody while I want to do that. So I want to just say to the listening audience, if you want to find out more about me, there's a couple of places that you can go. www.electmichaelmiles.com is a website that we designed. I have a full biography on that. I also have my 5 strategic goals on where the push is for me. What's going to be, these are the things that I'm going to make priority, as you just mentioned, cost of living, education, environment, equality, and healthcare are all the things that I believe impact our people today. And as I've canvassed, I'm now on my 2nd phase of canvassing through Prospect. All of these are also on the website. We also have a major social media presence on Facebook. It's Elect Michael Miles, and also on Instagram. But if you want to talk to me, well, one of the things I've also been doing is that people want to personally talk to me. Give me a call, 939-1301, or you can. I've also been responding to emails. electmichaelmiles.com is my email. So these are key areas that people can engage as well. On March 27th, I'm going to be having a family barbecue at the Spots Newlands Park. Just another opportunity to get together with people, because I believe that we need to put community back within our community. We have to start to look at those small meet and greets. I'm not a stage person. I have no interest in getting up on a stage and touting my own horn. What I'd like to do is ensure that I can sit on the ground and meet folks face to face and hear what their concerns are, but to encourage their participation in all of this. Mm-hmm. Because like I've told everybody that I've met in Prospect and certainly around Cayman, is that I have no interest in taking everybody's power from them. The interest that I have is creating a district council and moving people forward where they get a say in their own communities, where they take control back from politicians. My job is to represent Prospect in Parliament and ensure that I can represent our country nationally. But Prospect people have to start to now have a say in what happens within the community. I should be going to Parliament with 3,000, 4,000 people that live in the Prospect area on what we want in Prospect. And if that's putting more light poles in around Prospect, then that's what we're going with, and that's what the priority is. If that's making sure that we can deal with the massive flooding issue that we have, then that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, we've paved roads in Prospect. I've seen that in the 11th hour. But what I've also seen is that we've put no drainage on those roads. Now, I'm not sure if that's coming, but before long, it's going to be June and July, and the rain is going to fall, and then people are going to be flooded out again. We've paved Mahogany, and that's great. But Mangrove has 2 or 3 inches of water every single year for months. So we've not done anything to that road. So we've paved Mahogany that drains off into Mangrove and other streets, and people's houses are being devalued. So we have to start to focus on that. But our people have to stay involved in the process of this. You know, like I've told you earlier on, regardless if I am in government as an independent, sitting on the back bench, or certainly, you know, sitting as part of the opposition, my goal is to make sure that I can still go to the skate park and volunteer. You know, still make sure that I can lend my name or certainly, you know, lend my abilities in raising funds for young people who want to get training or go off to school or do that sort of stuff. So there's always going to be an element of moving Cayman forward by just rolling up your sleeves on the road, speaking to people, helping them manage their lives. And that is one of the things that I believe that I am good at. You know, on Saturday, I'm going to be at the Employ in Cayman event at the Marriott. And, you know, a major part of this right now is making sure that the 60 jobs that we've been able to engage with employers, Caymanians get. I don't want to attend just another career event. When a group of us started to talk about ensuring that Caymanians get employment, we were all about making sure that employers came to the table with jobs. So that event is going to be on Saturday at the Marriott, you know, starting from like 9 o'clock until about 2 o'clock. So I'm strongly inviting people to go on the Employing Cayman Facebook page, see what employers on that, and see what jobs. There are 60 jobs, all good jobs that Caymanians can have. All of these companies have opportunities to train. All of these companies are paying good money. They have health care, they have pension. These are things that I want Caymanians to have. So please go on that and make sure, you know, that you can bring your resume dressed appropriately, because you're not coming to run around and eat cookies and get free stuff. That's not what this is about. This is all about employment. You're coming, you're talking to employer because you want the job that they're offering, and you want to set up a second interview so you can get that job.
Okay. Any final comments that you want to make? I think you're scheduled to be back on again on the 24th, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, 24th.
Yep. You know, I once again, as I said, this election is going to come down to the people who have rolled up their sleeves and working hard, and that's what I'm doing. And I believe that I'm the best candidate for Prospect because I have a proven track record. I want people to vote based on that. Let's not experiment anymore. Let's start voting for folks who you know that's going to be transparent, who's going to be honest with you, you know, who's also going to work hard and incorporate you. A district council is the way for us to go. But I also want people to go out on my website, www.electmichaelmiles.com. It has all of our information out there, our Facebook page, our Instagram page. Please contact me, 939-1301, or please send me an email and let's engage at electmichaelmiles.com of the email address. Also, I thank you again for hosting me in as this half an hour, I it always seemed to go quickly, but
that's
we always
you talk
get
as much
through
as you can. Yes.
quite a bit. So thanks again for having me, and certainly thanks for people who have who've listened this morning.
Yes, folks, that was Mr. Michael Miles, a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections in the Cayman Islands. He's seeking to represent the electoral district of Prospect in our parliament. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Usi. And studio time by Price Right is 8 o'clock.
Big deals start at Priced Right.
They sure do. And if you're looking to upgrade your surround sound system, you'll love the Samsung 2.1 channel soundbar. Now just $149.99. Save $50. And if you need sound on the go, the Sentry Dot True wireless earbuds are perfect. And they're currently just $17.99.
Plus, we have the Hamilton Beach full-size garment steamer for just $54.99. Save $15. Find more big deals at pricedright.ky. Sale ends Wednesday, the 17th of March, 2021. Live better for less at Priced Right.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Please be advised that the pension contribution holiday has been extended until 30th of June 2021. Employers and plan members should ensure arrangements are in place for salary deductions and remittance following this date. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan, keeping you informed. For further information, visit chamberpensions.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Bontown East's Dwayne Seymour had the entire chamber candidates forum to himself as challenger Osborne Bodden decided not to participate Tuesday night. As the Minister of Health during the COVID-19 pandemic, Mr. Seymour had the opportunity to talk about issues more directly related to his constituency, including his views on growth and development in his district.
We really need to be careful, and I think we need to have an agreed plan by the citizens and the residents of Bontown East as to how they want their district to grow.
Mr. Seymour says it's not too late to come together to make that decision, citing the need for growth at the appropriate level for the infrastructure. He also said he supports a development that has seen resistance from people in the Beach Bay community.
I am all for the Beach Bay development that was scheduled to be built. That's still on. I think there's some stuff in that planning and so forth. I'm all for that. Beach Bay has always been an area that house condos and held tourists and so forth. So I'm all for that.
The Chamber candidate forums continue at 7:15 tonight. You can watch them live on the Radio Cayman Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. And Minds inspired partners with Code Cayman to bring Tech Talk to the cinema. 150 high school students are to attend the information session where they will hear firsthand from local innovators and tech professionals. Manager of Business Innovations at DARC and Tech Talk presenter Paul Henry.
The goal of this talk is to increase awareness amongst Cayman's youth of the career and life opportunities available both locally and globally in the technology sector. We have an exciting lineup of speakers who have developed successful technology careers here in Cayman, and they are super keen to help the bright minds of tomorrow who may want to follow a similar path. The technology sector is growing rapidly, and technology skills are in high demand, so developing them early can be of great benefit to students. Our goal is that all students from Cayman will leave this session with a better idea of how they can be a part of this industry, and we look forward to helping them on their journey.
The Tech Talk takes place at 12:30 to 2 p.m. at Cayman Bay Cinema this Thursday. And in other news, and Rundown is back for its 28th season with its usual laugh-out-loud mix of comedy, satire, songs about living in Cayman, told through a collection of skits, monologues, and music. This year's edition will see many new faces along with several newcomers. The shows take place over 2 weekends in March, starting tonight at 8 p.m. Tickets are $25 for adults and $20 for kids 16 and under. For tickets, email cncf@artscayman.org or call 949 5477. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Chris Barrow. The head of the European Commission has threatened to tighten measures around coronavirus vaccine exports if third countries do not also allow exports in a reciprocal and proportionate way. Ursula von der Leyen specified that these could apply to countries with higher vaccination rates than those in the EU, an apparent reference to Britain. Meanwhile, the WHO has approved the COVID vaccine developed by Johnson & Johnson for use in all countries, including those affected by variants of the virus. A UN team investigating human rights abuses in Myanmar has asked people to collect evidence of atrocities by the military authorities and to contact the team using secure means. Meanwhile, Myanmar's most powerful association of Buddhist monks has accused the military of torturing and killing people. The US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, has accused North Korea of carrying out systemic and widespread abuses against its own people. He was speaking at the start of talks in Seoul with his South Korean counterpart. Mr. Blinken and the US Defense Secretary are discussing how to handle the nuclear threat from Pyongyang. President Biden says Vladimir Putin will pay a price for trying to influence last year's US presidential election. Mr. Biden also told ABC News that he thought the Russian president was a killer. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged state authorities to increase coronavirus testing and tracking to avoid a second wave of the pandemic. The first batch of coronavirus vaccines provided by the COVAX initiative for the Palestinian territories has arrived. The 60,000 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech and AstraZeneca vaccines will be a boost to Palestinian efforts to tackle the virus. And the EU's top court in France and other member states may not authorise traditional types of bird trapping, such as using lime or glue.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers and the motoring public of planned works to upgrade the water supply infrastructure along Anthony Drive between the Smith Road and Andy Drive intersections. Works will begin on Monday, 8th February, and the project will last 6 to 8 weeks. Through the course of the work, customers in the area may experience service outages. The authority makes every effort to give advance notice related to outages. Customers can also visit our website, www.waterauthority.ky, for updates or tune into Radio Cayman for outage notices. Motorists are advised to avoid driving in the area between 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. weekdays during the works. If motorists must use the road, they are encouraged to drive with caution and follow all traffic signs to ensure their and the authority's staff's safety. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it undertakes these works and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
Good day, this is Dr. Croy McCoy from the Department of Environment, and this is an important announcement for all boat operators, divers, and snorkelers. Stony coral tissue loss disease is having a devastating impact on the Cayman Islands coral reef ecosystem. Pathogens on dive gear may survive for extended periods of time and can be transferred among reefs. If you're diving or snorkeling anywhere in the Cayman Islands and before traveling between Grand Cayman and the sister islands, please disinfect your boat bilges and dive gear in a 1% bleach solution for 10 minutes before diving or snorkeling in a new geographic location. For more information or to make any reports, please visit our website at www.doe.ky.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we're more than just an insurance company, we're family. To learn more about our first-in-class group health and employee benefit solutions, please visit Pan American Life Insurance Company of the Cayman Islands at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304. You can also visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the very latest weather report. Current temperature is 77 degrees. Relative humidity is 85%. The barometric pressure 29.99 inches and falling. The wind is east at 7 knots. Overnight low temperature was 74 degrees. Synopsis indicates slight to moderate easterly winds and seas are expected for the next 24 hours due to a high-pressure system over the western Atlantic Ocean. Radar images show isolated showers just southeast of Grand Cayman, moving west to northwest. Now, the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of morning showers. Temperatures will be in the mid-80s. Your winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. And the forecast for tonight calling for mostly fair skies with a 20% chance of late night showers. And temperatures will fall to the low 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 7 minutes past 11. Low tide this evening at 5:39. The sun will set this evening at 6:34 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:31. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Friday morning.
8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Sound Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, tell a friend. Having an accountability partner is often helpful in achieving your goals. Let your parents and partner know what you are planning or doing. Sharing with others also helps us to develop the ideas and our vision. Writing down your goals can help to solidify them for you and help you to stay accountable.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a new and second location in Governor's Square. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor's Square is open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. North Sound Road, moderate flow of traffic, some sections steady. Coming from the east, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the Linford-Pearson Highway, and also coming off the Linford-Pearson Highway on Agnes Way, traffic is busy. Steady traffic heading to Georgetown coming from the West Bay Road, especially from the Ritz. Moderate flow of traffic on Godfrey Dixon Way and Eastern Avenue. And traffic on Huldah Avenue steady but flowing. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. Shedden Road flowing at a good pace. And Cool Road steady and further east in Cool Road and closer to town. Traffic is moderate in some sections. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Click it or tick it. Have a good morning and drive safe.
Things just got a bit hotter on Island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
We are telling you ahead of time, giving you the heads up to get ready. The Black Tie Affair with a circus twist. Step right up. The annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Hotel Ballroom. Step right up. Support the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving life. The ambience of a circus affair. Tickets are limited, tickets are precious. Get your tickets from Rotary Central members. Go online to Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation Facebook pages. Rotary Central and the Alex Panton Foundation. Rotary opens opportunity.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Earlier this morning, we had Mr. Michael Miles, a candidate in the upcoming April 14th general elections. On this segment of the show, we have the people who will be interacting with the candidates and who, to a certain extent, will be policing them as well as providing a service, a well-needed service to the electorate, those people who will go out there and vote, and they will be voting in various forms, either by postal voting, mobile voting, or voting in person as well. So with all of those hints by now, you should know that I'm talking about the Supervisor of Elections, Mr. Wesley Howell, and one of his deputies, Ms. Sheena Glasgow. Folks, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Thank you. Good morning, OC. Good morning to all Radio Cayman's listeners. We're happy to be here.
Okay. Good morning, OC. It's a pleasure to be here. As I was leaving the office late last night, I was kidding with our IT guy that I need to be on my game tomorrow because this talk show host this morning knows his stuff when it comes to elections.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah.
Mr. Howell, I've never known you to not be on your game, sir.
That's true. Yeah, he's always on his game. Yes. So lots of things have been happening as well ever since nomination day. Your office has been really on the go preparing ballot papers. And before we get into the meat of things, let's talk a little bit about the ballot paper. Anything new this time around that we didn't have on a ballot paper before? What we have done, what you have done in relation to those persons who may have challenges when voting. I remember in my day, Mr. Gomez's day, at one point we actually had to get a newspaper clipping of the candidates for that particular electoral district and show it to a person to be able to identify which candidate they wanted to vote for as well. I'm sure that we've gone beyond that now, have we?
So the ballot paper is similar to what we had in 2017. So it's the number, the name as usual, a color photo picture of the candidate. And if the candidate's affiliated with a registered political party, then that party is on there, or indication that they're an independent. So what we're doing this time around for the visual impaired but still able to see, and this is something we're working on up to last night, was designing just the picture and name portion of the ballot to be printed on
11 by 78.
Actually wasn't big enough. So we've gone to 18 by 24.
Oh, okay.
And that we think will help persons to be able to see what they which candidate they want to vote for, particularly during mobile voting, and be able to indicate that to the presiding officer who by law would be assisting them in marking that ballot. So we were also working on some Braille devices, but the timing is such that I'm not sure we're going to get those on island before we get to the heart of the mobile voting next week. So, but we will have those larger images and names available for persons to be able to vote with their dignity, you know.
In addition, on polling day, so 14th of April, for 2017 and again for this year, we'll have a sign language interpreter on standby so that if anyone attends any of the polling stations and needs some assistance with sign language interpretation, that we'll be able to quickly shuttle that person out there to assist them. So some additional tools to help voters indicate their candidate of choice with a little bit more independence and a little less assistance.
Okay. The issue of postal ballots. I used to say in some districts elections were won or lost based on postal ballots. Of course, COVID-19 pandemic has basically changed the whole environment when it comes to people traveling, but we still have persons traveling as well. So let's talk some about postal ballots and
Absolutely.
Get your messages across.
So the elections rule, which is part of the Elections Act, specify that we send postal ballots via express mail service from the Postal Service. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we have some countries, many countries indeed, that we can't get regular mail service to and from, and that's because the mail typically uses the commercial passenger aircraft to carry those mail services. So I did write to Cabinet and using one of the mechanisms in the Elections Act to modify the rules to request that they support a recommendation from me in relation to sending mail, the postal ballots by commercial courier, and then also in return prepaying for the return of the ballots to us, because again, persons would have no option other than to use courier if they wanted to get their ballot back in time. So thankfully that was supported, and we were able to then issue postal ballots on time on the 8th of March, 7 days after nomination, and we dispatched those with DHL, the company that won that tender, and we had ballots coming back in before the end of the week. So it's working very efficiently. The other sort of curveball with that is that with travel being still restricted as our borders are closed and flights are limited, and persons needing to test negative before they get on an aircraft, we are encouraging anyone who's overseas or is planning to travel back to Cayman the end of March, first 2 weeks of April, apply for a postal ballot. The law does allow us to treat persons who are likely to be off island as postal voters, and it is likely that they might have an issue with their flights or with their testing and not be able to travel. So we would really like to be able to treat them as postal voters, so they can go online, download those forms, send them in to us, and we'll dispatch the ballots to them with the prepaid return. There's no cost to them. They vote way ahead of time at that rate. So that's our encouragement to persons that are traveling, which will help us minimize the persons that we'll have to poll in isolation and quarantine in the days leading up to the general election.
Okay. On the tail end of that, depending on when they depart Grand Cayman, they may still be able to apply for a postal ballot, and it doesn't necessarily have to go overseas. They can still come into the office or get it delivered to them locally, and they vote before they even leave the island. And so that would help, again, to ensure that they are not in any way disenfranchised from casting their vote simply because they're needing to travel at a very questionable time in terms of, when I say questionable, I mean in terms of return and then possibly being in quarantine, that sort of thing. So they can either get it before they leave the island, once they provide the proof that they are going off island, or we can send it overseas to their overseas address and they still vote overseas and then return it to us by prepaid courier.
Let's talk about the let's talk about the checks and balances that are in place when it comes to the issue, to the receipt of postal ballots, so that we can reassure all of those persons out there who need to vote by postal vote that their vote is certainly secure. One thing I can say, and this may not come across too well, but the good thing is if you vote early and something happens to you, they can't take your vote out of the ballot out of the ballot box. It's going to count.
Very true.
So interesting enough, on my way home last night, I ran into a candidate at the supermarket, and we had a conversation. And one of the things he said, I've actually observed postal ballot issues before, and when the returning officer called to say, do you want to come witness, he said that if there's one thing I'm sure of, there is that process is solid. So the issuance of postal ballots happens with the candidates and agents being present. They are given some notice of what that time is, and they come in and they observe the way that we seal up the ballot envelope, the declaration of identity, which is one of the checks and balances that we have there, and then we have the pre-addressed envelopes and in this case DHL slips that we then package, and those are dispersed immediately. So on Monday the 8th of March, we issued 90 postal ballots, and DHL was there at 4:30 picking them up, and we had people in Scotland call in to say they received their ballots on Wednesday morning.
Wow.
So, that process is there. On the return now, the ballots are received by our office. They're secured in a holding box, and then the returning officer is contacted. That returning officer has their only key to their individual postal ballot box, and they lock those ballots away then until election day. They have up until 6 p.m. to receive those ballots, and then they go through the process of the checks and balance in reverse now, ensuring that the declaration of identity matches the ballot paper matches, and then they prepare the ballots to be counted. So it's a very technical step on the return, but it's a solid way to work, and the way that we have inherited that system that was designed. It is great, and especially when we have such an efficient way now of sending the ballots out and getting them back.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have two questions. One is you speak about the returning officer. If I'm in a particular electoral district, how does the ballot paper, if it's the envelope for a postal voter, get to the intended returning officer? And then we also have a question from a media person who wants to know, when it comes to mobile voting, whether or not they're included in the category of persons who would qualify to vote by mobile, especially if they're going to be on one of the other islands on election day as well. So folks, please stay tuned. The conversation with Supervisor of Elections, Mr. Wesley Howell, and one of his deputies, Ms. Sheena Glasgow, will continue shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today, it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Supervisor of Elections, Mr. Wesley Howell, Deputy Supervisor, Machina Glasgow. The questions are coming in fast and furious, and we want to encourage you to continue to send your queries in so that you have the specialists in the studio who will be able to clarify everything for you. So we're going to start off with the postal ballots being returned and going to the respective returning officers.
So we have a system where the secretariat at the office will receive those ballots. They're usually sealed up in a courier envelope addressed to a particular returning officer. Those are secured in a lockbox. The returning officers then notify that they have ballots, incoming ballots. They then deposit those ballots into their individual postal ballot boxes. So we have 19 of those, 2 in Kimmenbrack. And those ballots then are secured in their outer envelope until they're processed on election day. So the returning officer is the only person that has keys to that ballot box. The ballot boxes are then secured, and the ballots are secured within the ballot box. So it's belts and braces, several layers there. That way we ensure that the ballots go to the correct returning officer and that they are then kept secure until they're ready for the count.
Okay. Persons in the media or who, because of the nature of their work, may have to go off to another island. They may not be a police officer. They may not be election personnel. Is the category as flexible enough that you can make the return registering officer can make a decision based on the description that the individual gives to be able to qualify for mobile voting?
Absolutely. So the law is quite broad. So the mobile, and I should explain that we have sort of 2 versions of mobile.
Yes.
One we have for persons who are physically unable to attend the polls. So these are persons that may be shut in at home, in a rest home, at a hospital, or at a nursing home. We will make arrangements to go to those persons. So we'll take the entire team with us as we go. So that's the agents, the presiding officer, the poll clerks, the police officer, or logistics team, and they then are able to vote in the comfort of where they are. The other category of mobile voting is not so mobile. It's a stationary location that we have on the same day, and then the hours for that is 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's for persons who are working or are engaged in some level of service and are therefore unable to attend the polls on April 14th. So the arrangements are made for them as well, and they're notified of the date and time of that location. They then attend there and vote as they would normally do on the 14th, but they're voting early. So I call that the early fixed mobile station, although that's a bit of a play on the words there, but it is exactly what is there.
Can you speak to the location in relation to that?
Yeah, so we have the locations published on our website. We have it's going to be gazetted this afternoon as well, an extraordinary gazette as an election notice, and each electoral district will have their day is published as well. So that listing of the 19 locations, because it is 19 now, are there. And as usual, we're making a special provision for Little Cayman, where the polling team will travel over to Little Cayman and poll Little Cayman voters there as well.
That'll be on the 8th. OC, do you want me to go through the list?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So starting West Bay. So West Bay North, what we call the stationary mobile location, will be the First Assembly Church of God Hall. That's 100 Finch Drive. For West Bay West, it'll be the West Bay Public Library, 204 Reverend Blackman Road. For West Bay Central, the Church of God at West Bay Hall. That's at 108 Captain Reginald Parsons Drive. And then for West Bay South, it'll be the John Gray Memorial United Church Hall, 26 West Church Street. And that polling date is the Monday, the 22nd of March, as in Monday coming next week.
With a follow-up.
With a follow-up, yes.
On Friday, April 9th, to catch those that come on the 1st of April list. Okay. So we're having 2 rounds of mobile.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes. Now, Georgetown has a couple of dates, so for each location, I'll read the respective date. For Georgetown North, it'll be at the St. George's Anglican Church Hall. That's 66 Courts Road. That date is Wednesday, the 24th of March, with the follow-up on the 8th of April. For Georgetown Central, we're looking at Emsley Memorial United Church Hall on the waterfront. That's 48B Harbor Drive, Thursday, the 25th of March, and then the last date will be the 8th of April. Georgetown West is going to be the Church of God Universal Church Hall. That's number 2 Dorset Road, which is off Walker's Road, as we know. Thursday, 25th of March, with the final mobile date on Thursday, the 8th of April. Georgetown South, South Sound Community Center. That's 1012 South Church Street. Wednesday, the 24th of March, with the final date being on Thursday, the 8th of April. Georgetown East, the Agape Family Worship Center Hall. That's 50B Fairbanks Road on Thursday, 25th of March. Final day being the 8th of April. Red Bay, you're going to be at the Seafarers Hall. That's 11 Victory Avenue. Thursday, the 25th of March is your first date, with the 8th of April being your last date. Prospect will be polling at the Moravian, Prospect at the Moravian Church Hall, 497 Poindexter Road on Wednesday, 24th of March, with the last date being 8th of April. Turning to Boddentown districts, Savannah, you're at the Savannah United Church Hall. That's 17 Astral Way on Tuesday, the 23rd of March, with the last date being Friday, the 9th of April. Newlands, still at the International College of the Cayman Islands, ICCI, 595 Hurst Road on Tuesday, 23rd of March, with your last date being Friday, the 9th of April. Boddentown West, at the Agricultural Grounds Pavilion. That's 199 Lottery Road, also on Tuesday, 23rd of March, with your last date being Friday, the 9th of April. Boddentown East is at Webster Memorial United Church Hall. That's 266 Boddentown Road, also on Tuesday, 23rd of March, last date being Friday, the 9th of April. Turning further east, Northside, Craddock Bank Civic Center, 923 Northside Road. You're on Friday, the 26th of March, with your last date being Thursday, the 8th of April. East End, William Allen McLaughlin Civic Center. Not enough caffeine yet this morning. So East End, you're at the William Allen McLaughlin Civic Center. That's 80 John McLean Drive on Friday, the 26th of March, with your last mobile polling date being Thursday, the 8th of April. Caymanbrac West and Little Cayman. Now, this is going to be broken up into two. So we will do Little Cayman at the Public Works. Let me say this over. PWD. Let me give the acronym. Little Cayman, your fixed mobile station is going to be the PWD Workers Building, which is 204 Spot Bay Road, and you're going to be doing that on Thursday, the 8th of April. Then the team is back to the BRAC for Caymanbrac West at the Aston Ruddy Center at 264 Ashton Reed Drive on Friday, the 9th of April. Caymanbrac East will be at the Veterans and Seamen Society of Caymanbrac and Little Cayman Center at 205 Ashton Reed Drive, and their date is Thursday, the 8th of April.
Okay.
So busy times. We also have the hearings of the claims and objections going on next week, as well as issuing postal ballots next week, and training going on next week. So there's not a whole lot of rest going on. So we have lots of caffeine at the office to keep us going.
Yes. Okay, we're going to take a break in about another minute. We have another question, and this person says, can you please ask your guest for a person who is visually impaired and needs mobile voting, needs mobile at-home voting, how will that work? How will their vote remain secret from the election officials that need to be present? How many officials will be present as well?
So the persons that need assistance marking their ballot have to take an oath to say that they actually need assistance. If they would like to, they can have a friend present as well who would also have to take an oath of secrecy. Our election staff, so the presiding officer and the poll clerks, are in close contact with those persons. Then we would then ask the agents to stand back to give the individuals some privacy. That we would speak in a low tone so that they can't be overheard in the rest of that process. And the person would then indicate the way that they would want their ballot marked to the presiding officer, who by law is the person designated to mark the ballot for somebody who needs assistance. So that it's a very closed group. And the same process happens if somebody comes to the polling station on election day.
Right.
The presiding officer would wait until the room is cleared of all of the voters and then speak in a low tone so that the person can indicate their candidate of choice, and then that ballot would be marked for them, and their friend is there to observe that the ballot is marked in the manner in which the voter intends it to be marked. So there are persons that are part to that, but we do our best within the confines of the law to ensure that agents that are present are not intimately into that.
And do not hear how the person has voted as well.
Some voters don't care, and they speak very loudly because they want everybody to know who they're voting for.
Exactly, yes.
That's their purview. Right. We won't do that. They can do that themselves.
Yeah. And we've never had any difficulty in terms of that process. No,
that process is fairly understood, particularly because several of the mobile voters are persons that we go to every 4 years, and they understand that process quite well.
Okay, time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. The conversation with Mr. Wesley Howell and Ms. Sheena Glasgow will continue after this short commercial break.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Ropers Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean Bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed, and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
The following is a paid political announcement by Mr. Kenneth Bryan.
Good day, Cayman. I'm Kenneth Bryan, your candidate for Georgetown Central in the 2021 election. I would like to invite you to my campaign launch on Saturday, the 20th of March at Kirkholme Center parking lot, 256 Eastern Avenue at 7 p.m. Come and hear my plans for Cayman and how I intend to address the issues that we all face. I look forward to seeing you, and remember to bring a friend, because this meeting is for everyone.
The proceeding was a political paid announcement by Mr. Kenneth Bryan.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I have in the studio with me this morning two of the busiest people on the island this time of the year. Election time. General elections, 14th of April of this year, but so many things to be done even before Election Day. And then, of course, Election Day, take the vote, and then at night we have the count as well. And, of course, we have manual counting here in the Cayman Islands. People like the suspense. They love that. But those things we'll talk about at a different time, because there are some things that need to be covered now with the supervisor and his deputy. And I know you want to talk about training. You've already trained your staff, so they're well versed.
Continuing.
We have candidates and agents who have been trained. We have some candidates who have this isn't their first rodeo, so they know how to do it, and possibly some agents as well. But there's so many important things that agents and candidates need to know, because some of the things that they could possibly do may serve to invalidate a person's vote as well. So it is very important for them to know the rules as well. So back over to you folks.
So thank you for that, OC. So on Saturday, we'll actually open the hall at John Gray High School, the new multipurpose hall there, to have a briefing for candidates and agents. We did provide manuals to candidates and agents on nomination day, but that's a fairly exciting time for them, and I suspect many of them hadn't had the time to read those in detail. So we'll be going through the salient points of agent appointments, election offences such as signing forms for postal and mobile voting, witnessing or filling those out, election campaign expenses, the proceedings on the day of the mobile voting, on the day of polling day, the count, how the count will be conducted, some of the case law in relation to how the ballots are marked and how those are interpreted by the returning officer. So what we want to do is to ensure that most folks understand the Elections Act and the ground rules before we get to that point, so that we can all be on the same page and then move very confidently through the process that we have before us in relation to polling, in person, polling on election day, and then counting as well.
Okay. We do have a caller. Can we take the call? Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to the supervisor and his deputy there. Just commending them both for the wonderful job they do, and everyone involved in the election office here. Just making sure things run smoothly, and that everything is real first class. I just wondered, you know that I've always said, and I will always believe, that election day does not have to be and shouldn't be a holiday, really. You're talking about all the preparations for people who will be working or won't be available there on election day. And it starts out from quite a bit before this mobile voting thing you're talking about, before the actual election day. Doesn't it start out quite a bit before?
Yes, so we start voting, 7 days after nomination day by post, and then mobile voting is some weeks before, so we actually start that on Monday coming.
And that's for people who will not be available to vote on election day because they're working or for whatever reason. Is that it? The mobile thing?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So there again, as I say, it don't need to be a holiday at all. No, I don't believe it should be at all. I don't believe that. I work every election day. I don't see any reason for it whatsoever.
So they
holidays are great, but they cost the country money.
So the Public Holidays Act actually designate the day for taking the polls as a public holiday.
I understand that. Yeah. But that can be changed. We can change that.
Absolutely. So the Parliament can change that if they so desire.
I hope they do. Well, and then this one question I just asked. I know it might be a little bit morbid, but what happens if a person sent in their postal ballot or this mobile voting and they pass away just shortly before election day? Isn't that sealed? Is that ballot still valid that they have voted?
Most definitely, sir.
That's the advantage. That's the advantage that person has over everybody else.
Right. So I just wanted to verify that because I know in most countries it's valid.
It is valid here as well, and
Yes.
there's really no way of identifying that person if they vote via mobile when we do the count.
This is what I'm saying. So when it's read out and people say, "Oh, but that person died 3 days ago," but that vote is still. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that question, caller. Thank you very much. We're going to try to grab another caller before we go to a break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, senior panel.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I just calling because I recall just I believe a couple of weeks ago there seemed to have been somewhat a major concern that there were not going to be any observers because of COVID relating to our elections from overseas. I find it quite mind-boggling, really, because I've never heard about anything untoward going on in our elections that we need people to come from overseas to observe. On my next question, perhaps the supervisor of election could answer this. Do we send people from Cayman to observe other person's election?
We did have a request earlier this year for some of our domestic observers to travel to one of the British overseas territories. Unfortunately, because of the COVID travel restrictions, that would have been an extended stay, and we didn't get any takers in that. But we did ask. We did get a request for our domestic observers to go overseas.
How convenient, huh? How convenient. We in the midst of a pandemic, we get a request from an overseas territory to observe their election. We didn't get it 2 years ago. You know, Cayman's got to really stop and take stock of themselves as it relates to. We are an island that everybody envy, and yet no one invites us to observe the election until we're in the midst of a pandemic, which makes it literally impossible. Impossible for it to happen. Mm-hmm. So I just need to ask that question because I was puzzled, and I was there sitting down waiting with bated breath for the next thing. Oh, we'll make a concession for those who want to come in to come. Oh no, that would have caused a riot.
But caller, if you have a product and you have a service that is so genuine and so that you're so proud of, wouldn't you want people to come in and to see exactly how it works, how well it works? Because that's part of the observation as well. You want to show people how well it works, and they may have some issues, some questions in terms of what they feel may not be working well. But I think by having observers, what it shows at the end of the day, that we have absolutely nothing to hide.
Yeah, okay, I'm not arguing that, but the flip side to that is that it could be also stated that with us having to have observers, we're doing something wrong. And I'm saying that in my 51 years, well, I won't say 51 years, but we're certainly within my 40 years of being of listening and observing elections in Cayman, we have never had an issue. And so that's what I've always questioned why we need observers to come in, right? That's all I'm saying.
It depends on how you package it, really.
Exactly.
I know Mr.
Anyway,
Howell.
Thanks a lot again.
Thank you very much, caller.
I know Mr. Howell has a story he can quickly share on the positive side of it from 2017 from that international observer team.
Yeah, so in 2017 we had a member of the international observer mission who was from the Caribbean. And after they had finished their process and had their press conference, she did ask the driver assigned to them if she could come and see us at the elections office. And he said, yeah, happy to have them. So she came, and she was responsible for the elections in her country. She said, I've never seen the process as smooth as you have it designed with all the paraphernalia that you have in the process. So can you send me a collection of all your documents and your envelopes and the way that you do it and your legislation so that we can look to implement some of this back in my country? So that was good sort of recognition that what we have is a very solid process when it comes to polling, and the way that our team works. Mr. Egbert Jackson is fantastic in his work, very meticulous, and the way that he puts together those materials that becomes almost an automatic process as we go through that on mobile voting, postal voting, and election day. So that was for me there. And as we do with any kind of audit, we look forward to having positive feedback that is fair and transparent, so that if there are things that we can improve on, we're happy to put those forward as well.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I'm going to ask you for this morning is a copy of those dates and locations for the mobile voting, so that on my show on those particular days, I can remind our listening audience of that, and try to hammer that home, for them as well. We're going to take
one quick reminder, that Mr. Connor, that folks have to apply for mobile voting. They just can't show up. So they can find the forms on our website, fill it out, email it in, drop it off at our office, but they have to apply before they come to the polls.
Excellent. I believe we have another question in relation to something about postal voting by email, but we'll get to that after. Top of the hour, headline news. When we return, we will have another 15 minutes with Mr. Wesley Howell and Ms. Sheena Glasgow. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 435 COVID-19 tests on Tuesday. All came back negative. There are currently 740 people in isolation, and more than 37% of Cayman's population has gotten at least one dose of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. 8 people, many of them Asian women, have been killed in shootings at spas in the U.S. state of Georgia. Police say these shootings took place at a massage parlor in Acworth, a suburb of North Atlanta, and 2 spas in the city itself. South Korea later confirmed that 4 of the victims were of Korean descent. Officials say a 21-year-old man has been arrested and is suspected of involvement in all of the attacks. Brazil's leading health institute, Fiocruz, has warned it's experiencing a historic collapse of its health service as intensive care units and hospitals run out of capacity. COVID-19 units in all but 2 of Brazil's 27 states are at or above 80% capacity. In Rio Grande do Sul state, there are no intensive care beds available at all. The warning came as the country registered its highest daily death toll yet, with 2,841 dying within 24 hours. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of this segment with Supervisor of Elections, Mr. Wesley Howell, and his deputy, one of his deputies, Ms. Sheena Glasgow as well. So I'm going to throw the mic back over to you, unless we get phone calls or any WhatsApp or emails regarding the process as well, so that you can cover those areas that you want to cover this morning.
So, Mr. Connor, again, we want to drive home the message to persons who are traveling off island or traveling back to the Cayman Islands around the end of March, first week or 2 of April. Please take advantage of our postal voting mechanism. We're sending ballots out by courier, so they can get to individuals within 2 or 3 days, next day if you're in the U.S., North America. And the return ballot is prepaid by the elections office, so it makes it a cost-free exercise for them. That way, if they have any scenarios where they test positive and can't travel, they miss a flight gets cancelled or rescheduled, they will still be able to exercise their franchise to vote. And we also have the benefit that we'll reduce the number of persons that we would have to interact with during the isolation process for there. The forms can be found on our website, quite easy to get to, elections.ky. Those can be printed, filled out, and emailed back into us at office@elections.ky. And persons who don't have access to a device to scan it in. You can take a picture with their smartphone and email that picture in. The registering officers would then follow up in relation to ensuring that the address is accurate, and where the returning officers would then issue the postal ballots to them. And then a reminder for persons who desire to vote by mobile to exercise that right also by filling out the forms for mobile available on our website as well, and sending those in, dropping them off at the office, or emailing them as well. And a reminder to candidates and their agents, it is an election offence to assist any voter with filling out those absentee postal or mobile forms, or to witness those forms. And as the law is designed, a candidate found guilty of that would actually run the risk of not being able to run for office again forever.
And if I may add on the tail end of that, the returning of the postal ballots, particularly those that have gone overseas, we want to encourage the voters to not sit on it, but to get it back to us as quickly as possible.
Because it is secured when it reaches you.
Yes, it is secured once it reaches us, but also don't wait for the last minute to apply. The deadline is the 6th of April, so that's the Tuesday after the Easter holiday weekend in Cayman. The last day for issuing both mobile and postal is going to be the 7th of April, that Wednesday, and then the very next week we're at the polls. So if you look particularly for those postal ballots going overseas and those last deadlines, if we issue a postal ballot on the 7th of April, with the 14th being a public holiday, we actually need to get that postal ballot back on Grand Cayman that Tuesday, the 13th, because the Wednesday is a public holiday, so DHL will not be operating. If it needs to go to one of the returning officers on Cayman Brac, we not only have to get it to Grand Cayman, we've got to make sure you get it over to the Brac. Every vote counts. So I would like to stress, don't sit on returning it, particularly if you're within that last week before the 14th of April. Get it back to us as quickly as possible so that we ensure we get it to the returning officer and that they are able to count your vote on the 14th.
Okay. The provision that allows the returning officer to accept postal ballots before the close of the polls, those that are delivered by hand, is that still in place as well? Can we talk about that?
It is up until 6 p.m. At the close of the polls on election day, but the gotcha with that is if somebody's in isolation, they're not allowed to get a document out, right? So they can't hand anything to. So again, that's why we're stressing, if you're going to be traveling at that time, take advantage of that postal voting process and get that vote out. We do have application forms for postal that are sitting, waiting until the new official list comes out on the 1st of April. So on the 1st of April, we'll be issuing a number of postal ballots for persons who we already have their forms for, but we can't issue it until they become official electors, or they have a change of electoral address. That will happen on the 1st of April. So,
but you have all your ducks lined up so that
everything's ready to go at that point. So we are planning for most of those eventualities, and we want to get them out on the 1st because we then go into our long weekend with Good Friday and Easter Monday. So again, we want to get them on the 1st so that they're traveling at that point and can reach their destination before. As soon as possible.
Okay. The question about the online request for a postal ballot. We had that.
So the forms are available online. Fairly straightforward form. Gives some details as to who you are, and if you're traveling, some indication of how you're traveling. You can drop those off at our office, have them dropped off by a family member, or you can email them into office@elections.ky, and we will then process from there. And the registering officer be in contact with you if they need any additional information or have any questions in relation to your criteria for those.
Okay. Anything else that you want to add on the training of candidates and agents that you haven't covered?
So we're cognizant that some folks are not going to be able to attend the training in person, which is what we prefer, because we'll also take pictures of agents so that we can have their IDs ready for polling day and for mobile voting next week. But if they can't attend in person, they need to contact their returning officer, and all the candidates have now been in close contact with the 19 returning officers, and we will send them details for a Zoom link so that they can attend virtually as well, them and their agents. So we want to ensure that everybody has access to the same information, and we're consistent in that area.
And a special invitation to our Cayman-Brac, Little Cayman candidates and agents, not expecting them to travel over to Grand Cayman to attend this meeting on Saturday in person. So please be in touch with your returning officers over there to ensure that you can attend virtually and still be included. We never want to forget Cayman-Brac and Little Cayman. And perfect segue to the training team is going to be on Cayman-Brac on Friday, and our ID team is also going to be on Cayman-Brac on Friday. So persons who need to get their electors' ID cards are welcome to attend. It's the, where are we?
Veterans and Seamen's.
Veterans and Seamen's between, I think it's 9 a.m. and 1 p.m.
Yes.
To get their IDs on Cayman-Brac this coming Friday.
Okay.
As in day after tomorrow.
Yes. And for those persons who won't become voters until 1st of April or have changes effective 1st of April, we'll take their picture, grab their signature, print their cards, and have them ready for pickup on the 1st of April. So we can't give them the card until they're official.
Yes.
But we'll do the preparation in the background. So still come out and have your picture taken. We'll grab your signature and have those ready to go for the 1st of April.
Okay. You guys have time for another call?
Absolutely.
Let's go to the phone lines then. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning, Osi. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. And yourself?
And good morning to the panel as well. I'm doing fine.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you. You know, I'm very enlightened to hear what was said a few minutes ago about a request, if I got the information right, about Caymanians going to another place to observe their election. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Good. Yeah, that is a very positive information. It's good publicity for the Cayman Islands, and I'm proud to hear that. And keep up the good work. I think this is one of the most honest place in the world when it comes to election. I guess if we had a few dozen of Caymanians in the United States, it might not have been all that rhetoric that went on. And lastly, listen, the Action Committee is back on track now, so we will be having a meeting at Brother Stanwick Miles Church of God Chapel on the West Bay Road tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. Non-political. This is about the community trying to get things together, so we'll have it tomorrow night again at 7 o'clock. Okay. So thank you very much for listening to me, and have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think what we should point out to our listeners also is that we have had personnel from other overseas territories come to the Cayman Islands and observe our elections actually during the election process, and many of them have adopted much of our legislation that we have in place here, including, voter registration cards, lots of things that they have adopted as well. So we basically have been the standard bearers in the Caribbean as well as other countries. Mr. Carl Dundas, who's an expert on elections, commended us on the way that elections were run in the Cayman Islands. And it keeps getting better and better and more improvement.
Absolutely. We always do our debriefing and have our areas of improvement, things that we can do better and things that we do well. So really grateful to have a fantastic team all the way through. We'll be over 500 strong by polling day when we count all the drivers and logistics in our polling team. And everybody has one vision, just to deliver the elections according to the law because there's no do-overs.
And those people look forward every 4 years, or if there's a by-election, to working for the elections office because they enjoy what they're doing as well.
So yes, Mr. Howell touched on it. We have a fantastic team of volunteers. Well, I'm not sure it's a team; it's more like an army of sorts. But something happened in the office this week that I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank all of the employers who work with the elections office and allow their employees who volunteer to ensure that this process happens the way that it happens and that we don't have any do-overs. We had one company that's been given a little pushback, so no naming and shaming. But on the other side of that, by and far, the majority of employers and companies willingly say, sure, we'll let our employees, work with the elections office. This is a national process. This is something that's going to impact us for the next 4 years by who we select on the 14th of April. So a little shout out of thanks to all of those companies and the HR managers and the CEOs and directors who willingly say, sure, no problem, we'll work with it. So thank you.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you folks for being here and look forward to seeing you and for the record again, I'm sure. And I will remind people about those mobile voting dates and
Thank
everything.
you so much.
Folks, please stay tuned. When we return, we will have Dr. Hazel Brown in the studio with us. We'll be talking about the vaccination process as well. And if you have any hesitancy about being vaccinated, we may decide to just do it on election day and have you, when you come to vote, we vaccinate you at the same time. Only joking, folks, only joking. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean Bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery. And now, a paid political message from Georgetown West candidate, Dr. Kenrick Webster.
Hi, this is Dr. Kenrick Webster, your independent candidate representing the electoral district of Georgetown West. With just a few weeks to go, I aim to apply my passion, dedication, and track record serving the people of the Cayman Islands through my experiences in law enforcement, tourism, and youth development, to support your Georgetown West to be an inclusive, safe, and thriving community for all. If you believe in togetherness and kick-starting positive change for our community, then your vote is safe with me. By voting and instilling your trust in me, I can assure you that I will listen to you and put your needs at the heart of action to ensure that your contribution is acknowledged, valued, and celebrated. With me, Dr. Kenrick Webster, as your MP, there's nothing that we can't accomplish together. Rest assured, your voice will be heard to bring about long-lasting change for Georgetown West and the wider Cayman community. I am Dr. Kenrick Webster, and I approve this message.
The proceeding was a paid political message by Georgetown West candidate Dr. Kenrick Webster.
It is truly important to our country that the voices of all the people in the Cayman Islands are heard on Election Day. Your vote counts.
April 14th, 2021.
Exercise your democratic right and vote. A public service announcement from your #1 community station, Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is now my pleasure to have in the studio with me none other than Dr. Hazel Brown, who is in charge of the vaccination process here in the Cayman Islands. I had intended to give you the March 15th update on COVID-19 update, but with Dr. Brown in the studio, we have a more current update than the 15th. So, Dr. Brown, without any further ado, welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Osei, and thanks for having me once again. Our statistics are really looking good. We've got 25,000 persons have received the first dose, which is 39% of our population, and 12,000 have received the second dose, which is 19%. So 19% of our population are fully vaccinated. And the other 39%, they'll be coming up to, hopefully in 3 weeks, we'll have completely the 40% fully vaccinated.
Okay, and what does that milestone mean? What would that milestone mean for us, 40%? Anything in particular?
Well, I don't know. That decision will be made by the Premier and the Ministry of Health, but it takes us closer to protecting our population and making a significant contribution to controlling the spread of coronavirus. It really means a lot to us here with our limited resources. And I've said this before, I think on the show, we don't have innumerable critical care beds. We've already decommissioned our field hospital. The HSA has 8 critical care beds, and Health City has more than that. I don't know the exact numbers, but if we were to get an outbreak of COVID, a huge outbreak of COVID, our resources could very, very quickly be overrun. So I'm feeling more comfortable.
Great.
Much more comfortable. And our older persons, we're well up into the 90%.
Wow.
Of getting the 60 and above. There's still a lot out there that need to come forward. I still believe that those 10% are probably generational Caymanians who are still refusing to get the vaccine. But we're going to continue to work on that group as well.
And we're seeing that hesitancy despite other jurisdictions where people are really clamoring to be vaccinated. And of course, many of those jurisdictions have learned their lesson in terms of the whole COVID-19 situation, because most of them didn't put the restrictions in place that needed to be put in place. And as a result of that, they're now seeing their numbers increasing as well. So again, we have a golden opportunity here in the Cayman Islands. We have handled this COVID-19 pandemic as best as any other country. We see now the United States and the United Kingdom leading as far as the vaccination process is concerned. I'm not sure where we are worldwide with it, but despite all of the successes, there's still one segment of society, of the population, that you have some concerns about. And the question is now, how do we reach them? How do we convince them that they need to be vaccinated as well, because they're not only protecting themselves but protecting family members and friends also?
I think one of the big concerns that remains, Vaccine hesitancy is a problem globally. I was doing some reading around it recently, and what I found was, interestingly, still being played out in our population. The Asians populations are much less resistant, much less hesitant to vaccine, more involved in the science, looking more at the science and that sort of thing. And all over the world, the Asian populations are taking up the vaccine. And we really appreciate that. I'm really happy to see that here. We're finding the Europeans as well taking up the vaccine, North Americans somewhat. The Caribbean people are, and I've in conversation with my colleagues across the region, we're all finding significant vaccine hesitancy among the Caribbean population. So one of the things that concerns me greatly is the influence of the churches. And this is anecdotal. We're still hearing that their pastors from their pulpits who are preaching against the virus, against the vaccine, who are calling it various things. And that drives great concern for me as a public health professional, because what it says is that these people are not looking at the solid scientific evidence. They're not following the statistics. They're not looking at the impact of the vaccine on the case numbers across the globe. And they haven't really researched the vaccine. They're taking someone else's opinion and opinions that really aren't based on fact. And our people are, as a culture, the Caribbean culture, we're very, very vulnerable to suggestion from our church leaders.
Yes, they're extremely influential.
Absolutely. And we appreciate that influence in so many ways. But this is one of the times when that influence is turning on the population and is actually doing harm to the population rather than working for the greater good. And one of the things that we would want is for those persons who still are preaching against this vaccine to come forward and learn more about the vaccine. Come to us. Let's have a conversation. I know we've had conversations with the Ministers Association. We've had conversations with other ministers. And for the most part, they've come on board and we've had the churches, support in the vaccination program. But there still is that portion, and it's primarily our Caribbean people.
Yeah, and unfortunately, those same preachers are the ones who will convince their congregations, well, not necessarily here in Cayman with a private jet, but a BMW or a Jaguar. I need this, I need that. And they're influential in that respect in terms of financing their glamorous lifestyles as pastors, but at the same time not trying to positively influence them when it comes to their health. It should be interesting to hear basically what they're telling them and how they're telling them they're to be cured or to be to prevent themselves from getting the COVID-19. It's unfortunate, really unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, and hopefully over time we'll see that start to shift. But this week now, or last week, we started to move the focus out from the older people to the 16 and over to the young people. We're seeing the same patterns persisting. In the 16 to 60, as we saw in the 60 and over, we're finding our local people and our Caribbean people are not taking up the vaccine in the same numbers, which they're not going to be in the same numbers. We have to face it. We're 25% of the population, but we're not seeing that 25% of the population proportionately represented in the people showing up for vaccine. And we really need to get our young people now starting to understand this vaccine and come forward, ask questions. If you don't understand it, just let's ask some questions. Anybody can call me at any time. I'm sure Dr. Lee will take emails and questions as well. We're going to continue to go on to try to push this, but we need the young people to understand that the effects of COVID, while we know that it's exponentially increased poor outcomes in the older persons, it doesn't mean that young people are not susceptible to really poor outcomes. It's just that they're fewer.
Yes.
If we get 10 cases, we may get one with a very poor outcome compared to 10 cases of the older having 6 poor outcomes. So, but the outcomes can be very, very poor. And because the youth have so much of their life left ahead of them, they're going to have to deal with the long-term sequelae for many, many decades. And this is particularly concerning, not only for the youth themselves and the influence of this illness on them going forward, but for the health system. Because then the health system is going to be burdened by the care of people with chronic conditions of the kidney, damage to the heart, damage to the lungs. And this is going to go forward, for generations.
Okay. Time for us to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue with Dr. Hazel Brown. If you have any questions or any suggestions in terms of how we go about engaging our young people about the vaccine, encouraging them to be vaccinated, you heard Dr. Hazel Brown speak about the long-term effects that are possible with our young people because they have a longer lifespan to live, and some of the effects, if you were to contract COVID-19, may linger on for years as well. So please stay tuned for the record with Dr. Hazel Brown. We'll continue after this short commercial break.
Did you know the third most important factor for customer retention is cleanliness? With 95% of shoppers saying exterior appliance influences where they decide to shop. Keep your business clean with Roper's Janitorial. From offices to restaurants, interior and exterior, walls to rugs and flooring. Roper's cleans it all, including 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511 or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Dress your business for success with Roper's Janitorial. We make your business shine. 949-2511. Roper's, providing products and services for better public health.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
The West Bay Action Committee will be holding a meeting tomorrow, Thursday, March 18th at 7 p.m. at the Church of God Chapel in West Bay. That's happening tomorrow night, March 18th at 7 p.m. at the Church of God Chapel in West Bay.
Making a dent in traffic congestion is everyone's responsibility. This March 22nd to the 26th, join your community for Car Free Week, a countrywide initiative by the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure. Carpooling, cycling, public transport. Join a park and ride program. Or perhaps working from home. Your boss will understand. Visit energy.gov.ky for more information for park and ride options. Take the Car Free Pledge and enter into the raffle. Traffic may stand still, but the Car Free movement is moving ahead. Join your community. Take the pledge March 22nd to the 26th.
Mr. Bernie Bush, political candidate for West Bay North, will be holding a public meeting this Saturday, March 20th from 7 until 9 p.m. The meeting will take place in the parking lot of Inferno, West Bay. West Bay North voters, you are invited to a public meeting held by candidate Mr. Bernie Bush, taking place Saturday, March 20th from 7 until 9 p.m. in the parking lot of Inferno, West Bay. Guest speakers will include Chris Saunders, Sammy Jackson, Johan Moxham, and Ard McLean.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Hazel Brown. We're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine program here in the Cayman Islands, talking about vaccine hesitancy as well. One of our listeners has written in and asked if whether or not one will be turned away from getting the vaccine if they show up on another day other than the last name date that has been assigned to them.
That's something that we're struggling with.
Okay.
Because I don't want to turn away anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is that our resources can only manage, I mean, we've gone up to 17,000 plus in a day. And it's really a hard day with 20 vaccinators. And that's not our usual day. So we have not been turning anyone away if you've come on the day of your alphabetical day or any day after your alphabetical day.
Uh-huh.
And we're kind of divided. We're kind of hesitant about saying that we're going to continue that because the numbers have been so huge. And sometimes we're just not able to cope with it. If we have a day where we have 800 or 900 second dose that we're expecting, then we have to stick to the name day. Having said all that, on the 22nd of March, we start in a second iteration of the name days. And right now, between the 22nd of March and the 1st of April, we're going to be running the alphabet once again. Hopefully, we will have smaller numbers. We'll have more letters on the day. There are going to be some days in there that will have no alphabet simply because the numbers of second dose are too big. That, we have one day that has 1,600 first dose, so we have to do those. We can't do any others. But this is going to be published soon, this new iteration. Mm-hmm. I believe this Saturday is the last day of the current iteration of the alphabet. Mm-hmm. So we're anticipating a huge day. Saturday, that's the 20th. We would like to ask you to help us by sticking to your name day. Mm-hmm. If it is impossible, and when we say impossible, we're asking for reasonable impossibility. You're going to have surgery or something major is going on, mm-hmm. but not, I just can't, I don't feel like driving to come out here or whatever. Yes. Try to stick to your name day as far as is possible, but it's highly unlikely that you're going to get turned away if you come on a day after your name day. Because I think we need to get the message out clearly. We want to vaccinate people. Mm-hmm. We absolutely do. We want to get our community covered. We want to engage with every part of our population to get that representative coverage. But our resources are sometimes limited. During the week, we don't have as many vaccinators. So we do have to limit the number of people that we see. Mm-hmm. On Saturday, we have many more resources then that we can put towards it, so we can handle the bigger numbers a little bit better. But I don't know. I kind of talked around that one. I don't want to turn away anyone.
Okay. One suggestion that we had from one of our listeners in relation to reaching the youth, talk about the use of TikTok and possibly getting some young person or persons who have already been vaccinated to do something on TikTok?
That's what I'm working on right now with our PR department, getting some little, I call them cameos because that's the only old-fashioned word I know, to upload some little clips to TikTok, to Instagram, just a couple of seconds, maybe one of our physicians, and some of our physicians have actually come forward and created these little videos for us. It's just for us to run them out there. And we're looking at getting some other personalities to come out and do just a little clip, just a 20-second, come out and get your vaccine. I've done mine. And seeing if I can get that up to TikTok and Instagram. We're working on that currently. The other thing that we're looking at is some other social media personalities locally. There are a couple of them. I've reached out to a couple. I'm waiting to see if I'm going to get a response. And if anybody out there if you consider yourself a social media personality and you have a lot of followers and you'd love to assist us with this, by all means, call me. And I'm happy to work with just about anybody to just get this message out.
Okay, and give them your contact details, please.
You can reach me by email, hazel.brown@hsa.ky. I won't give you my office number because I'm I'm at the airport so much. But you can reach my secretary at 244-2617, and our marketing department you can reach at 244-2612.
Okay, and I'm sure that there are lots of young people out there because they have a completely different language. The linguistics are completely different. So you're looking for persons who can talk their language.
And teach me that language too. I'd love to learn it. Yes.
Okay, another question that we have has to do with the variant. The UK variant, and I think you have the Brazilian one, you have the South African variant, and whether or not there's any evidence of those variants here in the Cayman Islands.
I don't have that data at hand, and I really don't want to to use conjecture. If we remember, though, in the media, maybe it's a couple of months ago, that we found that we had a couple of the variants here. Since then, I haven't really looked at it, and it hasn't come to my attention.
Okay. Excellent with that. Over to you again, Dr. Brown.
Okay. Right now, we're trying to get, like I said, the media stuff going. Want any media personality to come in. Want to work with the youth groups. If you have a youth group out there, we're going to be reaching out definitely to the Rotaractors to get their involvement. If you know of any other youth group, any group that we can come out and talk to, we would love to come out and engage with young people. We are still speaking to the older persons. If there's a group out there, a church group, a social group, any group at all that has questions that would like us to come out and talk, we're always happy to come and spend some of our time trying to educate our population, to engage with you, to hear your concerns about the vaccine, to be able to share from our experience and from the statistics that we currently have, the evidence that around COVID-19 vaccine, so that we can increase our coverage.
Okay. Now, for those persons who may be waiting for another vaccine to be on the island, like for instance, I have a WhatsApp message asking about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and it may be possible that some people are waiting to see whether or not other vaccines will be introduced, especially those where you get one jab only as opposed to having to the two-phased process. What would you say to them?
Well, there are a couple of things on that. When we look back at vaccines over the years, there are very few vaccines. I can't think of one right now that is a single jab ever. There's always a need to boost the immune system. You introduce the antigen, and then you boost it later on. So I'm not sure that looking for a one jab is necessarily the best approach or the wisest approach.
Plus you're leaving yourself vulnerable while you're waiting. And the truth is, there's so many unknowns. And I think what this year should have proven to us is that the only thing that is for certain is uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
And we are thinking about getting some other vaccine in, largely for like population groups who we're not quite sure about with the Pfizer, or we think that this may offer less. So, for instance, we may have those people who are super, super allergic. We're not talking about persons who had one anaphylactic reaction or people who get a little swelling for certain things or somebody who's allergic to penicillin. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people with 10 medication allergies and severe anaphylaxis and really, really severe allergic situations that we've been kind of looking to see, is there a better alternative? Is there something that might be even safer? And I know Dr. Lee and Dr. Williams are working on that, trying to see if there is an alternative. What it will be, I don't know. How much we will get, I don't know. By June, we will have had 100,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine on Ireland. And if I don't administer that, I'm going to drink it. Because this is such a tremendous opportunity for us. We cannot waste it. We have, and it's not about the waste of the vaccine, or it's all about the protection of our population. We must vaccinate the 50,000 people. I mean, that's just, it would be foolish of us to try to do, or to fail to do otherwise. So at the rate we're going, we're probably gonna use that up very, very readily. After the Pfizer, my preference, and this is just my personal preference based on my review of all the vaccines, my preference is Pfizer. And if I had a choice between the 4 that are looked at that are on the market right now in the West, I would go for that. So will we bring some in? We're looking into it. We want to. Is it the best thing? There's so many unknowns around this whole virus and the vaccines and everything. There's so much that we still don't know, that it's difficult to say, how it's going to play out. I'm very allergic, but not in that kind of category. I had no question at all. I was going to take that vaccine. We took it. We used it at the hospital for a while just to get a sense of comfort that the public health professionals were comfortable using the vaccine, that we weren't going to have any kind of dramatic responses or reactions. We moved a couple of people over into A&E just out of an abundance of caution, no real anaphylaxis. And we've moved up to the airport. We've had a couple of people faint. Some of them, there's one guy that I love to death. I just loved his reaction. He said, "Nurse, I just letting you know, I gonna faint." And he did. He went wonky. And he came back for his second dose, and we were like, "Okay, you gonna do it again?" And a lot of people are coming, and this is something I need to say. When you come in to get the vaccine, eat.
Yes.
Have your breakfast, because it's an emotional response as well as the physical response to getting a needle. Back to the question, I don't know what we'll get. I don't know when we'll get it. We are looking into it, and we will publicize that when we get the information. Okay, we're going to take our last commercial break for the morning. I want to prep you with this question, and you may not be able to answer it. But at what point in time are we likely to throw our hands up in the air and say, okay, we've tried enough in terms of those persons who are legally, ordinarily resident in the Cayman Islands who we want to get this vaccine, and say, but we do have other people in the islands who are vulnerable and who run the risk of spreading the virus as well, that we say, listen, we're going to open it up to everyone, because for some people on this island, the advantages of having that vaccine, especially when they leave here to travel to their home country, a huge advantage to them. And we know that there will be outcry when that decision is made. But at some point in time, that decision may have to be made. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, with Dr. Hazel Brown, we'll be back shortly.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean Bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
The Chamber of Commerce, in association with Foster's, is hosting a series of candidate forums. Candidates from each of the 19 constituencies respond to questions submitted by the public in a recent online Chamber survey. Watch the forums by streaming the Chamber's or Radio Cayman's Facebook or YouTube channels on CIG TV or Logic Channel 23, weeknights from 7:15 p.m. Visit caymanchamber.ky for up-to-date election news and candidates' profiles. The forums are also proudly sponsored by DART, Affinity Recruitment, and Bodden's Legal and Corporate.
The Chamber of Commerce Candidates Forums continue tonight at 7:15 and will feature candidates from Bordentown West, Vincent Frederick and Christopher Saunders. You can watch the debates on Radio Cayman's Facebook page, CIG TV's cable channels, or on the Chamber's YouTube channel.
Good day, this is Dr. Croy McCoy from the Department of Environment, and this is an important announcement for all boat operators, divers, and snorkelers. Stony coral tissue loss disease is having a devastating impact on the Cayman Islands coral reef ecosystem. Pathogens on dive gear may survive for extended periods of time and can be transferred among reefs. If you're diving or snorkeling anywhere in the Cayman Islands and before traveling between Grand Cayman and the sister islands, please disinfect your boat bilges and dive gear in a 1% bleach solution for 10 minutes before diving or snorkeling in a new geographic location. For more information or to make any reports, please visit our website at www.doe.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last leg of the show this morning with Dr. Hazel Brown. We're going to close the phone lines off because there are several important points that Dr. Brown still wants to cover. And before she gets to those, just want to get some comments in relation to the vaccine, the fact that we have been so fortunate here in the Cayman Islands through the United Kingdom government to have access to the vaccine. We've seen other countries that are having difficulties with it. We see in Trinidad, for instance, where they did receive some from the Indian government, but the leader of the opposition party in Trinidad jumped over the prime minister there and wrote to the Prime Minister of India requesting additional just skipping all protocols. So some countries, the people are, I hesitate to use this word, but desperate to get the vaccine. And here we have the opportunity, and some of us are letting it go to waste. And at what point in time do we simply say, okay, we have tried, we've done our best, now we're going to open it up to everyone?
Well, we're not going to let any of this vaccine go to waste. Mm-hmm. The current batch, and we started that yesterday. We opened the last batch that we received of 15,000 doses, I think. Mm-hmm. That expires at the end of June. We have another tranche coming, and before we waste it, and this is something that we're doing every day. We're at the end of the day, we're counting what we have out and how many people we have, and we're what we call run the floor. Okay. You just run the floor to make sure that you don't have more vaccine mixed than you're going to use on that day. But if at the end of that day we have 4 or 5, there was one day when we had 16, we're finding people to come and take this vaccine, and I don't really care at that point in time. It's just about getting this vaccine into the arm of a person and not into the trash. Yes. So before the vaccine expires, we will use it for whomsoever shows up. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this current batch will expire at the end of June, so we've got some time. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, 15 or 20,000 doses. I don't remember the number correctly. So that would be 15,000 dose days. And those are not, we have to provide the second dose. We have an extended, in the UK, they're given one, and then they give you up to 12 weeks to get the second. We're going with our 21-day. Okay. With our 21-day plan. So that is 10,000, that's 1,000 a day for 15 to 20 vaccinating days. Now, when I say vaccinating days, we're taking the Easter weekend off. Mm-hmm. We are not vaccinating a Good Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, or Easter Monday. We've made some changes to our schedule so that those who would have had the 21-day falling on Easter Monday, we've moved those down to the Tuesday. So persons who receive their vaccine on a day that would have them coming back on Good Friday or the Saturday, they've been moved to the Tuesday after, and we've got a couple of days doubling up to catch up. Okay. So there won't be any first dose done immediately after Easter. Like that Tuesday and Wednesday, we're not doing any first dose. It's only second dose. There are a couple of things, a couple of reminders that we need to get out there, if I may.
Yes.
The big question is about Caymanians and permanent residents. Who is eligible under the directive that we received from Cabinet, that people must be legally and ordinarily resident here. And we're looking for permanent residents, people on work permits, global citizens. For Caymanians, it's very, very easy to verify Caymanians, and we've had this question: why are Caymanians passports being brought to the front of the line? And it's simply because it's one look, and you can move the line, so the line on a whole is moving through very, very quickly, rather than the Caymanian getting the vaccine before the expat. It's not about that at all. It's just about how quickly we can verify and how quickly we can get the whole line moving through. We have this here that persons other than those with a Cayman passport or voter's registration card must show proof that they have initial permission to remain in the island for at least 6 months. A driver's license is not sufficient proof, because we've had people come up to us and we had to pull the driver's license requirement simply because there were people who came up to us with driver's license whose work permit had expired, or who were just visiting here. They'd lived here before, but they were now visiting.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to take that one out. So we do use the driver's license as an ID if the work permit does not have a picture on it. So the driver's license is not excluded. The Cayman passport, the voter's registration card, the global citizen certificate, the non-Caymanian passport showing the work permit or the employment rights certificate, the work permit extension letter, work permit grant letter, or job letter from a local organization. Those are the things that we take. And a couple of other things. We really don't want to get evicted from the airport, so we need our public to work with us. They have been so very gracious, and we're so thankful to them for their support. Mm-hmm. But it is, there are risks to the airport authority as well for having those large numbers of persons there. So we, by April 7th, we will have received over 100,000 doses, which is enough to fully vaccinate all persons 16 plus. So while we want you coming, we don't need desperation at this point in time. And we're asking people to not all come at 5 o'clock in the morning. If you come at 5 o'clock, you are going to be saying that you waited 3.5 hours, because we're not opening the doors before, or 4.5 hours, because we're not opening the doors before 9, and you have to wait after you get the vaccine. You have to sit for a while. We don't want anyone, you're not to laminate the card.
Yes.
We've had persons laminate their cards and they got sent back to us from the Miami airport. We don't know what the other airports across the globe are going to ask for. But we know that travel documents as a rule aren't laminated.
Right.
People who come in for vaccine are to park in the long-term parking lot. We love children. We love to have children there, but we have to ask that people who, if as far as is possible, leave your children at home. A kid in a stroller, if it's an infant in a stroller who's not going to get up and run about, that's fine. But we can't be responsible, and neither can be the airport be held responsible for having children running around in there.
And to point out to them also that the vaccine, because I think we just had a question about whether or not that a vaccine is administered outside or inside the airport, and it is inside the airport,
not on the
absolutely
grounds,
not outside of
and
it.
I'll talk a little bit about that if I have time. But
we'll stretch it a little bit.
No pets are allowed at the vaccination clinic, and that's been a problem. There are no pets allowed in the airport anyway, unless they're traveling. But people have been trying to bring their pets in, so no pets in the vaccination clinic. And everyone entering the airport must be wearing a face mask. If you don't have a face mask, you are going to be turned away. The little shop across the road is doing a brisk business in masks because people aren't wearing their face masks, and we're not letting them in. The HSA cannot provide masks for the public in the volume that would be required. And it's much easier if you download the consent form and have it completed before you arrive. It speeds the line up. People who have to stop and fill out their forms in the morning slow the line down, which is why we pull in all the second dose. We bring them in constantly because it keeps the line moving. And we look forward to having people come out and continue. We want to get us up into the safe level that we can actually get our borders open safely.
And more young people. And
absolutely, we need the young people to come out. The young people are the ones who are moving around. They're the ones who will move the virus from one place to the next.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Brown, I want to thank you very much, for all of that information, and look forward to seeing you on TikTok.
Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to being there too.
Folks, I want to thank you all for listening as well. Join me again on Friday, where I will have more candidates on the show as well. Have a great day, stay safe, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking